All right.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of
The Hafu It.
As many of you might know, it is Women's Appreciation Month, Women's History Month.
Yeah.
So this week we wanted to do an episode on women's appreciation.
Gorgeous.
So the title of this episode will probably be WAW.
WAW.
It's released on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We don't want to do the woman crush thing, so
I love it. Yeah.
Women's Appreciation Wednesday.
Here we go. So I am your host. I am Sakura.
And I'm Kyoko.
And here we go. Let's talk about some women.
Let's get into it. So Women's History Month, it's an annual declared month, just for those of you in the world who maybe don't have that officially. I'm not sure if it's an internationally renowned dedicated month necessarily. I see that it's celebrated in March in the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and obviously in Canada.
So I guess the colonies.
The colonies.
The British colonies.
Well, it doesn't mention some of the other British colonies, but maybe.
My God.
So International Women's Day is on March 8th, so this episode will be coming out 2 days afterwards.
Gorgeous.
So we're a little late on that, but that's okay. It's never too late to celebrate
but it's the month,
the women in the world.
Here we go.
You know?
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, the commemoration apparently began in 1978 as Women's History Week. In California. Strange. But now we do it every year. In Canada, at least. And this is our appreciation of women today. We're gonna do a whole dedicated episode. Yeah, so I think as a Japanese Canadian woman, ourselves, the largest, inspiration for me at least has been Laureen Oikawa over the last year or so, over the last 2 years, as I've kind of been coming into my own identity and learning more about my mixed identity and what that means to me here in Japan. Here in Canada. I'm always in Japan in my mind. Laureen Oikawa is the president of the National Association of Japanese Canadians, the NAJC.
Mm-hmm.
She works in BC. She's based out of BC. And she's most often writing on topics that include human rights and her own heritage, being Japanese Canadian. She wrote a book called Honoring Our People, Breaking the Silence, Honoring Our People, Breaking the Silence, sharing stories of Japanese Canadians who have survived the uprooting, dispossession, etc., internment.
Right.
And she's always kind of at the forefront of a lot of the articles that you will read about Japanese Canadians looking for redress.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really big thing. She actually put forward with a couple other partners in 2019, I believe, another request for redress. So, the Japanese Canadian community, I think, we're always looking for something else. But they put together a really large proposal for it in 2019. So she is kind of at the forefront of Landscapes of Injustice, which is another organization based out of BC.
Right.
Just really working on Japanese Canadian human rights.
I love that.
Yeah. Shout out to Laureen.
I love that.
Our girl.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Women who I really appreciate, as someone who's in the LGBTQ IA2 plus community, I really appreciate people like Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox really put herself out there during a time where people were not okay with trans women of color being in media, being included, being a part of the conversation, and she just really put herself out there and really paved the way for a lot of people in the trans community, people women of color, the LGBTQ IA2 plus community. So before I ever saw Laverne Cox, I always had a very, very interesting relationship with trans, because how trans people have been depicted in the media has always been not what they are. So having someone like Laverne Cox, who is actually trans, portraying trans people, but also portraying just women, that was the first time I actually saw something that actually made sense. And she's so articulate. She's so well spoken. She's so well educated. She's just such a good role model for the community. I love and respect her so much. I support everything that she does. She's just been such a trailblazer, and she's definitely a very iconic woman for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Laverne Cox is really awesome. She's done a lot of really cool work.
Really cool
She did
work.
that documentary a couple
Disclosure.
years ago, right? Yeah,
Yes,
Disclosure.
if you haven't watched Disclosure, I think it's still on Netflix.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing documentary. Yeah, everyone definitely, if you haven't watched it, give
Yeah,
it a
I still
watch.
haven't seen it actually. Do you like what's it about, Saku?
So basically it's about the way that trans people have been portrayed in the media, in movies. It's about trans representation in movies. So, and then it also goes through how damaging the media has been for the trans community by having the wrong types of people play trans people in movies. It also goes through like early history of like the earliest kind of trans people kind of poking their heads out of the shadows, being like, is it safe yet?
Oh.
So yeah, very educational, and I think for people who don't have a lot of knowledge on the subject matter, it is a good place to start with. So if you are someone who you're very curious about the trans community, really good place to start. And anything that she does is a good place to start.
Yeah.
But Disclosure has so many other voices besides Laverne Cox talking about the issue. So yeah, great movie, great documentary.
Yeah, definitely. I know that I've been meaning to watch it, especially as someone who comes from a film background.
Hell yeah.
We've talked about this a little bit in regards to like why maybe I haven't pursued more actively a career in film, but similarly, like I remember when I graduated film school, I was
Yeah.
invited to a meeting that happens every year with the Women in Film organization based here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it was great, and it was supposed to be an introduction just to network with other women who
Right.
also work in film.
Which
And
sounds amazing.
it sounds like it should be really cool.
Yeah.
And it's not that it wasn't.
Right.
But sitting there and looking around the room, it was me and one other person of color. And everyone else was
Okay.
either like a young, white, blonde-haired lady or
Blondes.
an older, white-haired white lady.
Yes.
And it was just kind of unrelatable
Not a lot
unrelatable
of
content.
diversity.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah, not a whole lot of diversity. And to be fair, I don't know if that's entirely like their fault. You know, there's always like some responsibility that has to be held there. But it should probably tell organizations like that, when you look around the room, you don't have a lot of diversity, that maybe you're not as welcoming to the
Yes.
the
Totally.
colored community,
Right. Yeah.
people of color.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not an organization that I decided that I wanted to be part of after that meeting
Right.
for that exact reason. So yeah, I think it's really cool that there are artists out there who represent what they do in the media, whether that's your cultural heritage, your gender identity, your sexuality, whatever it is. So
Totally.
that's really cool. The
Totally.
Disclosure is out there.
Yeah. Kind of like along the LGBTQ IA2 plus route. I also love people who are like not a part of the community but are such good allies.
Right.
So Lady Gaga is obviously going to come up.
Queen.
The Queen. Lady Gaga has done so much for so many different groups of people.
Yeah.
I love her so much. I was in high school when she came out, and I don't think I had ever seen, I'm trying to think. I don't think I had ever seen an artist that had come out that was so pro LGBTQ plus, in the sense that like most of her like dancers and like wardrobe people, like her like producers, I guess, for like her image and stuff like that. Like she was just surrounded by like queer people and trans people, and I hadn't seen that before. Like my early idols, Britney, Christina, never really visibly had queer people or trans people. To my knowledge, there definitely could have been, but the way that Lady Gaga like showcased the community was also so beautiful because she showed such like an artistic, like joyous, you know, it was just so uplifting. She
Yeah.
was celebrating so much, you know, it was
Yeah.
really, really cool.
It's almost like it's super easy to just look at someone and accept them for exactly who they are.
You know?
It's almost like it's so easy.
Yeah, and for her, she comes from a religious family. She went to a private Catholic school
Yeah,
in
so
New
she
York.
would technically have some of the same excuses that a lot of other people have for
100%.
being homophobic or
Yes.
not so understanding of the LGBTQ plus
Yeah.
community.
Totally. But she's just someone who sees you for who you are as a person and loves you for who you are as a person.
She's an icon.
She is an icon. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
she's a good one to bring up for sure.
totally.
Pop culture icon. Speaking of pop culture icons, we've talked about this particular queen a couple times, but Rina Sawayama is, I think, a
UK
joint,
goddess.
just someone that we collectively really, really love and appreciate.
And someone like right now in this moment.
Yeah, who's like current, up and coming,
Yes.
really, really making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think we've ever given her like a proper introduction.
Right.
But Rina is mixed Japanese.
She's full Japanese.
She's full, so right, sorry, she's full Japanese.
She's
But
Japanese.
she lives in the UK.
Yes.
She is a singer.
She's a model.
She's a model. Yeah, she's great. She's also LGBTQ.
She is queer.
She's queer.
Yeah.
And she's released actually in 2020, very prominent year to be releasing music. Probably a really good opportunity. I don't think she took it as that necessarily, but I'm really glad that she decided to release the album that she released in 2020 in the time that she did.
Yes.
Because 2020, you know, obviously was a year that was very like anti-Asian in general. It was very...
It's ongoing.
Yeah, it's ongoing.
It's still
Obviously, you know,
happening.
very timely. This topic is coming up.
Yeah.
But obviously, at the start of the pandemic and throughout the pandemic, there's been a lot of extra racism towards Asians in every community.
Yeah.
And Rina, belonging in the UK, you could see there being quite a bit over there as well.
There's stuff happening over there, unfortunately.
She released an album in 2020 called Sawayama. And it's fantastic. It actually tackles so many topics on her queer identity and her Asian heritage, anti-Asian racism that had been surging with the coronavirus. And I think she had intended on not releasing it during the global pandemic, but I'm really, really glad that she did. I think it's a great reference to speaking out. You
Totally.
know? We
Yeah.
got straight up a track on the album called Shut the Fuck Up.
Oh, you need to go and watch the music video. The intro into the music video is an experience I think a lot of East Asians and Asians in general and people of color in general have had to deal with
yeah.
while dealing with a certain demographic.
She's on like a fake date with this white man.
The most stereotypical white man, and just the things that he's saying are so triggering. It's if you're like, I don't know, if you're someone who like, if you're a white person and you've ever been called out by an Asian for being slightly problematic, you should watch this music video.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of white people don't realize
They have
certain
no idea.
questions that they ask are incredibly inappropriate and are not wanted.
And I mean, how would they know?
How would they know? So I feel like it's very like educational for certain people to be like, oh, that's like not an okay thing to say or ask.
Yeah,
of a person
100%.
of color.
Yeah.
But anyways, what's really, really cool is because she was born in Japan and she wasn't born in the UK, UK Music Awards were not going to allow her.
I was just gonna bring that up.
To be a part of it. And just in the last month, I think they finally changed their mind, and she is going to be able to be a part of award shows and
Yeah,
the
I'm
music.
just like looking at this now
hell
on
yeah.
her Instagram account where she made that announcement on February 24th, so very recent. But yeah, sharing the news that after a lot of conversations with the BPI, they've decided to change the rules of eligibility for the nominees
I love
for the
that.
Brit Awards and the Mercury Prize,
Yeah,
which is super cool because unless you were like born British, is that it?
it is. Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to be like
weren't
born.
eligible,
Yeah,
which is ridiculous because there's so many artists
totally.
in Britain, I mean, everywhere that are
Yeah.
not like technically born in
Born
that
there.
country,
Totally.
but
Oh,
they still
totally.
have nationality.
Yes.
Um,
Well, and she moved when she was like a
like a
small,
baby.
like a baby.
Yeah.
She has spent her
She's
whole life
more
in the
British,
UK.
like in terms of nationality, than
Yeah.
she is. Yeah.
Oh, and
Japanese.
I've watched little kind of like clips of her where she said because she grew up British, she had to do kind of what we all have to do in white colonized countries is hold on to whatever little bit of our culture we can.
Yeah.
Like there was she used to love watching anime, and there was a period where she just did not watch any anime, and she as like a teenager had to kind of like get back into that and realize that's something that was really important to her that she loved because she was trying so hard to fit into the new country.
And you and I kind of talked about that a little bit. I mean, like obviously we were born in Canada.
Yeah.
We don't have that exact experience,
Yeah.
but with growing up watching a lot of anime and then like kind of deciding that you were going to be air
had to
quotes
fit in.
over it and
Yeah,
then
you
discovering
had
it
to
again
fit
as an
in.
adult.
Yeah.
And really like finding a lot of pride in it because
Totally.
it's just a part of your cultural identity
Yeah.
and who you are.
Yeah, I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, if any of you want to see any like really funny tweets, definitely head to Twitter and look up the hashtag Sawayama is British.
Oh my god.
Really, really empowering stuff, and they're really hilarious stuff, all on that hashtag. So definitely hop on Twitter, check her out.
I love that. Another person from the East Asian community that I really respect too is our Canadian Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh, all you Grey's Anatomy fans out there should know her. Christina, our girl.
Oh my god. Growing up, it was so rare that you would see an East Asian in a role where you're one of the main characters, but it has nothing to do with you being East Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not Asian themed. They're not in Asia. It's just they're a character who happens to be East Asian.
Yeah.
And that was so refreshing. So refreshing. And her character is so badass. Like she's such a strong woman. She's so empowered.
Yeah.
It was just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I remember the moment I learned that Sandra Oh was Canadian.
Yeah.
I was so proud as just a Canadian to have
And she's
someone...
from your neck of the woods, I think.
Yeah, she's from the Ontario spectrum.
She's from the Ontario spectrum.
I think. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I was so like genuinely proud to have out there in like the more forefront of the media.
Yeah.
Just an Asian Canadian out there really representing.
And that too, like an Asian from North America.
Yeah.
Because
born
sometimes,
here.
Sometimes it's more of like
Right.
an import situation.
Ah!
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I love, but it's like
it's a little different.
It's 100% different. Yeah, totally. So I think her most recent show was called Killing Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what her job title is in the show, but she's basically hunting down this psychopath who's a hit person. So they're hired to travel the world and take out very like high level people, and so Sandra Oh's trying to track this person down. I think she works for some sort of like government affiliation or something, but everything she does is so good. She's such a good actor. It's insane.
It's cool to see her outside of Grey's Anatomy too, right? Because that's what she's done for the longest amount of
And
time.
a lot of the cast members didn't really have anything after Grey's
Yeah.
Anatomy. That was kind of
I mean,
their
Grey's is
thing.
like
It's
just
still-
ending now, right?
I know
like,
it's still going.
I think she's one of the
It's like
last
20
standing.
seasons.
Yeah. My parents are big into Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I've never had to watch it myself because every time I'm over at my parents' place, they're like, "All right, we're on the same season that we were on the month ago that when you were over last," and
my
I'm just
God.
like, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
She was also on Over the Moon.
Yep, she's one of the
that
voices in
anime
Over the Moon. If you have not
animation
seen
film.
Over the Moon, it's on Netflix. Get into it.
It's on Netflix. It's a musical.
East
You know,
Asian.
it's
East Asian
animated.
vibes. Get into it.
3 of our favorite things, and
Yeah.
it's completely accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, get on it.
Get into
Sing,
it.
sing "Fly Away" to us.
Oh my God.
Serenade us.
Ah!
Speaking of very successful Asian people in the media, we've got Chloe Zhao, who is also very current right now. She
Yeah.
just kind of blew up on the internet because she became one of the first, what was it? One of the first Asian women to win a global, or sorry, she's the first female Asian director to win a Golden Globe. That's it. That's what she
Right.
blew up for. So she, for anyone who isn't like unfamiliar with her work, she's directed films like Nomadland, which is her most recent film. I think she's working on The Eternals right now,
Which
is
is
like
Marvel.
which is Marvel. Yeah, that's right. Which is really big for her. She's done a couple of others. I really liked a film that she made in 2010 called Daughters. It's a little bit more of an Asian storyline. Takes place in rural China,
Right.
and arranged marriages and such. But it's a short film too for anyone who wants to seek that film out. But yeah, Chloe Zhao is really out here, kind of breaking barriers all on her own. The Golden Globes and the Oscars, all award parties like that are pretty notoriously
Anti people of color.
anti people of color, anti women.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to see like a female director, female Asian director,
Female person of
color, director, person in a
immigrant.
successful role. Again, like being
I love.
from a film background, that was really, really empowering to see.
Yeah.
One of the things that has also just, or I guess along the same lines, I've never wanted to join the film industry more professionally because I just don't see enough representation of that, or actual like acknowledgments or awards for women of color
Right.
who are in film.
Yeah.
Being acknowledged for any of the hard work and talent that they've contributed to the industry.
Totally.
See it more often in like the independent sphere, definitely not like over Golden Globes very often, or
Yeah.
Oscars or anything like that. So
Totally.
as a director myself, I'm really, really, really look up to Chloe Zhao right now. I'm definitely going to be
Awesome.
keeping my eye on her work in the
Yeah.
future.
I love that she does more like independent like work too.
Yeah. I think The Eternals is going to be her first like more
Major, like
mainstream.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love like there's something just so gritty about independent films.
Yeah.
Like sometimes they have to do funding themselves. They have
Yeah.
to like find funding. Like
Grants.
it's just so much more like how I imagine movies are made versus like big Hollywood like green screen productions.
It's definitely like my preferred method. Like I could never see myself working on
Yeah.
a large scale Hollywood production.
Yes.
Something that I've talked about maybe on this podcast before. I don't know. Something that I talk about a lot in like my artist statements when I'm working on different art projects is how much the story itself matters to me.
Right.
And I'm not saying that films that come from Marvel or anything like that don't have stories. Obviously they do. They're written by someone. They are interesting. I'm a big fan of fiction films and stuff like that. Independent films, and to have like a good storyline, you don't have to tell something that necessarily holds a lot of like reality to it. However, I just think that sometimes a lot of the nitty-gritty of what is real,
Yeah.
even in a fiction story, gets so lost in trying to polish those things over instead of just showing how ugly some things are in real
Right.
life, even if it's in like a superhero film, especially in superhero films or anything like that, because the
Yeah.
whole point of superheroes and people who are, sorry, I'm
Ah!
banging the table.
She's getting really
Ah,
passionate
I'm
about
banging.
this.
But yeah, like the whole point of escapism films is to kind of understand
Totally.
what you're escaping from
Yeah.
and see the solution or whatever that solution
Totally.
happens to be in the story. So, yeah, independent films definitely a lot more going for it. There's obviously still some issues with that.
Right.
But yeah, that would probably be my preferred sphere if I were to ever decide to go into
Yeah.
film more professionally.
I always say that like independent films are like building a piece of furniture from scratch with your bare hands versus like a big production Hollywood movie, which is like IKEA. You're still building it, but it's all kind of like easier to assemble, if that makes sense.
In regards to like accessibility and like tools that are available to you, yes.
Like the difference between like a $10,000 budget versus like a
Yeah,
$200
yeah,
million
totally.
dollar
There's like
budget, you
there's a
know?
little bit more like legwork in regards
Yeah.
to making the film happen from an independent sphere, but that doesn't mean that people don't work hard
Oh,
on
of course not. Yeah.
Hollywood films and stuff like
Of
that. But
course. Yeah.
yeah, look out for Chloe Zhao. Go watch Nomadland if you
Hell
haven't
yeah.
watched it yet.
Yeah.
Another Japanese Canadian artist that actually I think has listened to a couple of our episodes, is like truly honored by it, is an artist named Mia Turnbull. So she is based out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. And she makes like masks for the most part.
Okay.
She examines like elements of self in relation to like being Japanese Canadian, mixed race, heritage, and the space between like defined margins of identity. So a lot of her work kind of dawdles between the line of like what is beautiful and what is considered grotesque, and kind of blurs it all together, and separating herself as an artist from physical appearances, which is
Very
often
cool.
how we are defined and labeled, especially as, mixed race people. So you can actually find her on Instagram, follow her stuff. She posts pretty often.
Her
Her work
masks are
is,
so cool.
yeah, you're looking at it now. They're super realistic. It's kind of some of the videos that she puts out too are particularly like experimental.
Oh, I
Um,
love that so much.
yeah, really, really cool work, and a cool, I guess, art art form that represents kind of what it's like to be mixed race.
Very cool. How did you find this person?
Yeah, again, if you're in Canada and you're Japanese and you have Facebook, get yourself on the Japanese Canadians Facebook group. I'm pretty sure we first touched base via that group.
I'm missing out.
When I first promoted that, yeah, you're missing out. Hop on that Facebook.
Oh my God.
It's good for some things, you know. But yeah, as like people who are off so often asked, like, oh, but you don't look Canadian, just based on your like physical
Yeah,
appearances,
where
or
are you
oh,
from?
where are you from, stuff like that. I think it's a really cool concept to create physical representations of identity, the way that she has. And it's kind of cool too with masks, right? Because you can put on a mask and become a completely different person, a different identity, on the outside.
Totally. Yeah.
So
And like masks are such like a big part of Japanese culture.
are they?
Um, yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, I
the
guess so.
kabuki masks.
Yeah, you're right.
Not like a huge part
No,
of the
no, no,
culture,
but
but
you're
it's
right.
it's there. We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
masks. Yeah.
Yeah, and kabuki and like theater. Yeah, yeah. No, you're entirely right.
Yeah.
It's like a
Yeah,
pretty
we
big
even
thing.
went to the Anthropology Museum
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago now, and in a little tiny section they had some Japanese artifacts and a big wall of kabuki masks and Japanese masks.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't been to the Museum of Anthropology at all, actually, this was my first time ever going, and I'd been wanting to go for, the 7 years that I've lived in Vancouver.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool to go, and actually, right now, I'm not sure for how much longer, they have a little exhibit that's on the Great uh, East, the Great East Asian
Yeah.
earthquake slash tsunami
Yes. Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
happened back in 2011. There's like a very Instagrammable wall of photos that were recovered from the
Yeah.
disaster. It's an entire wall, and it really looks very cool, but it's very effective in capturing just how devastating it would have been to just lose
How much
all
people
of your family
lost.
heirlooms
Totally.
and memories. And like in places like Japan too, there are so many natural disasters that have caused so many people to lose very important family
Totally.
documentation. Your koseki gets lost. Any type of history gets lost. I know that I have that issue. We only have like to a certain extent uh, our koseki. It only goes back so far
Mm-hmm.
because of all of the sort of natural disasters that have occurred in like southern Japan where my family is from.
Right.
And like until very recently, surprisingly, Japan has kept stuff like that on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only in the last like decade or two that they've started to have that kept online
Right.
as a file that you can get, which is real sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out at the Museum of Anthropology if you have
Hell
a chance
yeah.
to go. It's not very expensive. It's definitely worth your time. They have beyond even if you miss that exhibition, they have a permanent display of Japanese artifacts along with other Eastern Asian
Yeah.
artifacts, indigenous
Tons of
artifacts.
indigenous artifacts, which I love.
Yeah, we wish so. We were there for like 2 hours, and it was not nearly enough time. If you're like a museum lover,
No, we were definitely rushing, and there were
yeah,
some parts that we didn't get to like fully absorb.
yeah, we were like running through the exhibits to try
I mean, the
to
main thing we wanted to see was the
was the
tsunami
the tsunami exhibit. Yeah,
exhibit,
that's
but
right.
everything was just so beautiful,
Yeah,
and I love learning about different cultures and um, just being around artifacts.
anthropology,
Anthropology, but not the store.
but not the store. Oh God, definitely not the store.
Like
Girl.
the exact opposite. I was just seeing on Instagram, Anthropology came out with this shirt that is basically the exact same as this shirt that was created by an indigenous group of women who have a clothing line.
Oh.
And they're currently being called out for it. So it's the exact opposite with the Anthropology clothing,
Oh.
the Anthropology retail store. So that's a no, but the Anthropology Museum is a yes.
Any anthropology museum is a yes. So wherever you are in the world, there's for sure an anthropology museum somewhere wherever you are. Actually, whenever I'm traveling internationally, I always make sure that I hit up the local anthropology museum. It's really cool just to learn about how humans have evolved in different areas of the world, different types of struggles, right, that have kind of led humanity to where we are
Totally.
now, and kind of like puts you back in the a grounding sphere of humanity and what that means and where we've come from.
Definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think someone that we can't not talk about in a women's appreciation episode, who's also Japanese Canadian, is Joy Kogawa.
Mm-hmm.
Joy Kogawa, a Canadian icon in the Japanese Canadian community.
Yeah.
She wrote the famous book Obasan,
Yeah.
which is definitely like a reading staple in our community here. Goes over a lot of Japanese Canadian culture and history. In
Yeah,
regards
and
to,
she's
like,
from Vancouver.
she's from Vancouver.
Which makes sense.
Which totally makes sense, yeah. She's like 85 years old, so she's lived a life. So obviously she's kind of lived through the internment and dispossession that occurred in the 1940s. So she wrote Obasan that kind of depicts a lot of stories kind of from her life and from that time.
Totally.
Yeah. Big ups to Joy Kogawa, especially for other Japanese Canadian authors. when they are writing,
I love that.
telling stories. She's still like out there, Joy Kokawa,
Hell yeah.
helping to revisit like stories of internment in our community. I think actually recently, I think in like 2020, she did an interview that was a little bit longer, just kind of revisited a lot of that and recounted her experiences.
Totally. Which I think is so important.
It's always nice because it's super brave when community elders come out and share their stories.
Totally.
Maybe it shouldn't be. No. It's I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It is brave. I think a lot of people maybe like might have questions about why that would be considered brave because there are a lot of like different communities that are a little more outspoken maybe than the Japanese Canadian community tends to be.
Oh, 100%. The East Asian community just in general.
We're not super outspoken, or the elders are at least not super outspoken. Super grateful that we have collections through the Nikkei center that have like full collections of interviews with community elders, especially because our elders are dying. You know, they're slowly dying off one by one.
Yeah,
I've definitely seen that firsthand over the last year. You know, I've lost my family elders are all gone now. So really, really important to have people like Joy Kogawa in the community who are ready and willing to share their history and their stories with the younger generations so that we can kind of help carry the torch a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. And if you haven't been to the Nikkei Museum, it's out in Burnaby. It's a little bit past Metrotown. If you do ever have a chance to go, it's a great place to just, gain a little education on Japanese Canadian history.
Yeah.
Every time I go, I feel like I learn something new.
Yeah, I've still never been to the Nikkei Center.
Yeah.
We meant to go for Family Day.
We did.
But it was snowing.
It was snowing.
It's a little far. There's a pandemic. Yeah, I want the full experience. So we're gonna put it off for now until we
but
can
we'll
go
definitely
safely.
go.
Yeah, hopefully with like vaccines and stuff like that, activities like this won't be so difficult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have some female crushes, I hear.
So my earliest kind of like crush on a woman, I would have to say, was when I was in grade 7, Kill Bill came out.
Oh.
And one of the characters in Kill Bill is Gogo Yubari, who is Oren Ishii's Japanese schoolgirl bodyguard.
Oh.
I was obsessed. This was the first movie that like came out while I was like a child that had an actual like Japanese actress playing an actual Japanese role. And she's so badass in the film. I don't know if you recall. Yeah, she's super badass. You've seen my hoodie.
Yeah.
I got a hoodie with her face all over it. Absolutely love her. She is the one.
Oh, yeah.
She's also in a very iconic Japanese movie called Battle Royale.
I've heard of Battle Royale.
Yes. So she's not the main characters, but she's like one of the... she has a storyline.
She's a character.
She is a character in it. She has a storyline.
Does she kick some ass?
She's badass in that. Well, yeah, it's really, really interesting. Another thing that really drew me to her is she usually always plays roles that her character will die in the film. Mm-hmm. So she rarely makes it through like a film alive, which I absolutely love. So yeah, she's badass in the film. She kicks some ass. She unfortunately dies. Oh. Spoiler. But yeah, super badass. So I loved that about her. Something that I really loved about her was in Kill Bill, the way that she dies in Kill Bill. Quentin Tarantino had a rough idea of what he wanted the scene to look like, but the finessing, again, I'm not going to do, I guess the movie's been out for long enough, I can spoil it. So basically, Uma Thurman's character hits her in the head with an object and causes some damage. And Quentin just kind of wanted her to slump onto the ground and die, but she had the idea of having blood, pour out of her eyes and her ears.
Yeah.
And so they went with that, and it was so iconic, and I love that was her idea. I was like, she is the one. So that's probably like my earliest like female crush.
Yes.
And for me, like an actual female crush, where I was like, I would marry you.
Inspiring.
Inspiring, yeah.
Because of women like you.
Oh my God.
Does Cyber 6 count?
Does Cyber 6 count?
She's animated.
Oh my God.
Definitely, she was super androgynous in Cyber 6 in that anime growing up. Do you remember?
Yeah. Cyber 6, no, I don't think I know.
Oh, damn. For all you Cyber 6 fans out there, you gotta let me know. This is just one of those, like, obscure Canadian cartoons. I'm pretty sure it's an anime, though.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're looking it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Cyber 6, I definitely had a crush on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but she's not a real woman. So, but I appreciate her anyway.
Totally. I totally remember this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That hair is iconic.
Like when your parents didn't want you to be awake for a certain amount of time, and then you were just like...
Yeah.
You're like, yes.
I live.
Any other whamming crushes?
Not really.
Not really. That's a long-standing one.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think I grew up with like crushes on any not that I'd like consider crushes, but yeah, women that I looked up to, I guess, that I have mentioned already in this podcast.
Yeah.
So I think that's the end.
I think that's the end.
The end. Goodbye. Can you imagine we just like cut it off there. We just cut off the podcast right here.
Oh my God.
Actually, now that we're kind of coming to a conclusion to this episode, something that I did want to bring up is one of our listeners from Chicago, really, really lovely. They messaged us on Instagram and said, hey, like, it would be really cool if you guys had a Discord community or a Facebook community so that, you know, people who listen to your podcast could get together, discuss episodes, stuff like that. It's the first time that anyone suggested anything like that to us. You know, we really were super shocked.
It's like, they want what?
Yeah, we were like, wait, we have enough people listening to us that somebody wants to, you know, to discuss.
I was like, do they know
with other community members? I was like, I think that's a really cool idea, though. Like, you know, if more of you want it from us, if more of you want us to create a specific space, a community for all of you to discuss any episodes or to just connect on like a mixed race level. Yeah. Let us know. The idea of a Discord sounds a little bit overwhelming to us right now. Sakura and I still work full time and running
lots of other stuff.
Yeah, lots of other stuff going on right now. Yeah. We're both on the cusp of like a really large life change. Some other bigger projects for this podcast are coming up over the next 2 months that we're going to be working really hard on. So if you guys were kind of aiming more towards like a Discord, that's something that you might need to wait a little bit longer for. We kind of mentioned in our last episode that we are maybe planning on taking a little bit of a break over the summer. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you would have heard or seen The Last of Us. We'll be kind of working more on vlogging and more on like our YouTube channel.
It doesn't mean we're taking like an actual break. We'll actually probably be working even harder.
Yeah. We'll just be working on other things. And putting the podcast on hold for just a little bit, just a little break before we come back to you with season 2. But and
even more content.
Maybe during that time, there'll be enough of our hafus listening.
Oh my God.
Should that be what we call you guys?
Enough of our hafus.
Our hafus.
And, you know.
The its.
Oh my God.
Anyway, if there are enough of you who kind of are interested and would like us to create a space for you, we'd be happy to do so.
Yeah.
We might need some mods to volunteer to kind of give us a hand with that. Some moderators for a Discord.
Well, and like lots of people have like self-made like fan pages and fan websites for celebrities and stuff like that.
Yeah, but we're not celebrities.
Which we obviously are.
We're not celebrities. So we wouldn't expect you guys to do anything like
but
that.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, it's something that was just kind of put onto our plate recently, and we were like, oh.
Yeah, I never thought about that
We
before.
had not thought about that. But yeah, there are other Facebook groups right now that are super helpful. And if you're not from Canada, there's the Hafu Ladies community group. That is very welcoming of people from all walks of life. And many of the members of that group are in Japan. So I actually, I don't know a lot of other Canadians in that group, but it's still really nice to, you kind of connect with a lot of other artists, a lot of other specific Hafu ladies.
Oh,
speaking of women's
Hafu
appreciation,
ladies.
lots of artists who do a lot of other really, really cool things. Some people
awesome.
will like release children's books every once in a while that they'll like promote there, and you're like, hell yeah. Especially me, I have like a 3-year-old sister, so I did buy one of them. It's called the Hafu Child for
I saw that
for Maya for Christmas.
Totally.
So yeah, it's a really cool community to join in the meantime if you just wanted a chance to communicate with other people of mixed race ancestry. I guess the Hafu Ladies community is more for Hafu, so the Japanese mixed race community. But I assure you that if you look up like Hapa community or anything along those lines, that it will come up. It'll be available to you.
Totally.
Yeah, and it'll probably benefit you more than you think that it will. TBH.
Oh my God.
And that's that on that.
And that's that on
for
that.
joining community. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh my God.
All right. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in to another episode of the Hafu It. We've loved talking to you guys. We do love talking to you guys through this podcast. It's nice to participate in something so widely accessible. Yeah. Again, if you need to reach us, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok under This Is Kyoko. Or if you just wanted to follow along on the podcast socials right now, we are only on Instagram still at Hafu It.
Yeah. And if you want to find me and reach out to me, my Instagram handle is saku.miki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely send us a message. We love conversing with you guys. We seem to be getting more and more messages from you recently.
We're getting more and more followers.
It's just, it's really, really awesome. Thank you all for your support.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
We really hope to hear from you guys soon.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.